Sir,
why hasn't Kim Jong-un responded to your request to have a conversation?
How do you know he hasn't responded?
Has he?
Yeah, he has.
Did you speak to him?
Trump was like, fuck, he got me with that one. I'll lie. Speaking of brain damage, were we talking about the president? What do we want to pitch there? We want to pitch Trump talking about how he's going to bomb the shit out of Oman
today.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yinks just spoke with President Trump and joins us now from Tel Aviv. Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. I just got off the phone with President Trump, who discussed the situation with Iran as the 60-day memorandum of understanding expires. The president told Fox News Iran should raise the white flag of surrender. He went on to say, I have no time schedule. I'm not in a hurry. The president indicating that the U.S. naval blockade is continuing to put new economic pressure on the Iranian regime, despite what the Iranians have said publicly. He said they're good poker players, but they're dying, and that the midterms in the United States have nothing to do with the president's thinking. Now, I asked the president about these parallel talks that are taking place between Iran and Oman about control of the Strait of Hormuz. And the president told Fox News, if Oman gets in the way, we'll bomb the S out of them. We went on to talk about a variety of different regional topics, including the U.S. stockpiles of weapons that are currently stationed in the Middle East. The president says what we've used so far is peanuts. He went on to say the United States has a lot of mid-level weapons and that many of the more advanced systems, the president says, were given away by President Biden to Ukraine, for example, when we're talking about air defense that is needed right now in the Middle East. The president also...
This is, I would give this a solid 6 out of 10 on being funny. Like, this is a solid comedy bit here, but nothing for me in terms of his recent behavior, nothing for me tops the fact that he has canceled military exercises with South Korea because they won't help us fight to defend Israel and is instead partnering with North Korea. Not an exaggeration. Based on my very good relationship with Kim Jong-un of North Korea, phenomenal way to start a Truth Social post, I am not happy with the fact that the U.S. has long ago agreed to participate in the joint military exercises with South Korea. These exercises are not only costly, with much of these... Does anyone else feel like it's high time MAGA positions themselves to, like, have to defend North Korea? Like, MAGA is pro-Russia. MAGA will defend any foreign dictatorship, you know? But I feel like I need to see more revanchist, chud, MAGA apologia for North Korea. Like, where's the takes that South Korea is woke, but North Korea is manly? I want to see the same, like, 10 blue check MAGA accounts posting that one video where they were doing the demonstration for Kim Jong-un. You had the guy, like, breaking a wooden board with his forehead, and they were, like, throwing axes or whatever. They can do, like, VDV training videos, you know, really, really pump it up. Anyway, these exercises are not only costly, with much of these costs paid for by the United States of America, as usual, but send a signal that is totally inappropriate and hostile to a country that, as long as Donald J. Trump has been president, has been unthreatening and respectful. What's the approval rating for Trump right now in South Korea? It's pretty low, right? God, he's funny. Therefore, and based on the fact that it is too late to cancel, I have instructed Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to substantially reduce the joint military exercises. While somewhat unrelated, I recently asked the president of South Korea if they would like to join us in the denuclearization of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and they said no thanks. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. He's such a fucking queen, dude. By the way, unrelated, I asked them if they wanted to help us out with Iran defending Israel, and they said no. Bye! Bye! In another life, he should be a queen on Broadway. President of South Korea hates Israel and says Israel is committing a Holocaust in Gaza. It's kind of funny that South Korea is genuinely one of the most doomed countries in the world, but they're still somehow better positioned on this than Japan, a country that could have a future if they wanted it, but won't take it because they're pussies.
Very nice, actually. But I called him. I said, would you like to give us a little hand? We don't need help with Iran, but if you'd like, give us a hand with Iran. He said, no, thanks. And I said, wait a minute.
We don't need help. Unrelated, we don't need help. If you could help us, you won't help us. Well, we don't need help, but we could use some help. Please? Please.
39,000 soldiers over there guarding you from Kim Jong-un, your next-door neighbor, and you're not going to help us on a very easy military operation in Iran? That's strange. No, we'd rather not get involved. I say, well, Why are we involved in helping?
The room is so gaudy. It's funny how the gold just blends into the background now because it's so tastelessly applied. And now the only two things that stand out are the toy airplane and Baron Harkonnen's death mask over here. Like everything else just looks like a hazy wallpaper. And then you have Trump and a plane and the Death Stranding-esque effigy hovering behind him.
So, and I want to help them, but you know, when you ask somebody, would you like to give us a hand, and they say no thanks, and then we're guarding them from a country and paying ourselves billions of, it's costing us billions and billions of dollars to protect not only them, but other countries. Look at NATO. We spend hundreds of billions of dollars. Very nice.
And then he goes on like that, I assume for some time.
Sir, why hasn't Kim Jong-un responded to your request to have a conversation?
How do you know he hasn't responded?
Has he?
Yeah, he has.
Did you speak to him?
Trump was like, fuck, he got me with that one, I'll lie.
Where are you in conversation?
And very positive. Well, just so you understand with South Korea, look, South Korea has been protected by us for many, many years. And during my first term, they agreed to pay close to $3 billion a year for protection because we don't, you know, they essentially weren't paying. And I asked them to do that at my request. I said, not right. They weren't happy about it, but they agreed. I asked for $10 billion, and they were very unhappy. But we agreed for a short term that it would be $3 billion, and next year it would go up, and the next year it would go up, so they start paying for their protection. When the election was rigged and I ended up watching for 4 years and then coming back, I watched Biden rescind that $3 billion here for whatever reason. When I
Sir, why hasn't
He's so fucking funny, dude. He doesn't even know how he sounds. He's like, yeah, I'm such a strong man. I demanded 10 billion in racket protection money from them, and they said no, so I was like, okay.
How do you respond to those folks who say that you are prioritizing the interests of adversaries in North Korea over our longtime partners by scaling back
just
the
the
military
opposite. No,
exercises?
I'm making it much safer. You see, I'm actually making it much safer. Kim Jong-un has always treated me with great respect, and we met on numerous occasions, actually, 2 primary occasions, spoken and spent time. I understand him, he understands me. You're doing war games. I get along with him. You know, he didn't like Biden, he didn't like Obama, he didn't like anybody. But I get along with him very well. Now, what I'm doing is making things safer. Just the opposite. Quiet. You're very disrespectful in front of this.
Dude, he does this so much now.
Young man, okay? Don't you find her disrespectful? He understands. Quiet. Who are you with?
I'm with CNN.
Fake news. You're fake news. You're a loud, boisterous person. You're fake news. Be quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet.
Dog, this country's never coming back from this. It's a level of insanity from the White House that exceeds. It's like 1960s fascist African warlord backed by the CIA tier shit in terms of like the kinds of people we're propping up. It's a joke. There's no coming back from this. No institution that could tolerate the existence of this man for 2 terms, not just 1, 2 terms now, is reparable.
If he had asked you,
You're a fake reporter, and you report fake news. Go ahead.
That's what I mean when I say liberals have given up on offering solutions, because I still like I see a lot of liberal opinions. You know, there's a lot of them out there, unfortunately, and I have not seen one of them acknowledge the fact that an institution that can produce this is already broken. They're still too busy jerking themselves off over the fact the Constitution's the oldest living legal document or whatever. You know, they're oh well, like they think there's any coming back from this. You know what I mean? What's up with your ads? Pops up every 5 minutes, all unskippable. Sorry, moves are expensive. I didn't change anything. Maybe YouTube did. I don't know. Liberals are quite vocal regarding voters being the issue and not the Trump. Well, it's if I may add to that, if I might like put a little sticky note on that, it is the ultimate sign of defeat, the ultimate death throw of an ideology, if their final argument is well, everything would be fine if everyone just agreed with me. It's like the liberal version of when socialists are like, well, if everyone just agreed that we do Medicare for all, that it would work, with no strategy on how to get there. I've said this before. The problem with capitalism in its end state right now, well, there are a lot of problems. But the big one we're dealing with right now is not necessarily that you can't produce good outcomes under it. It's that the incentive structure that capitalism creates produces people at the top who have really, really, really bad interests. It all comes down to incentives, you know? Yeah, voters could all suddenly realize that they've been stupid and vote in the correct direction. They're not going to. There's no way out of this, man. It's done. Fox News is confused about Trump's threat to Oman. Well, he said he's going to bomb the hell out of them. What's there to be confused about?
We handle them very easily, just like we do others.
No, what's Oman been doing wrong? They were trying to engage in negotiations with Iran on the Strait of Hormuz. Apparently, they made their case. Then they turned it over to the U.S. and Iran and just been sitting on the sidelines ever since.
John, I don't see Oman doing anything that would make them complicit in supporting the Iranian regime.
All right, that's okay. That was a lot more direct for primetime Fox News than I expected. That was like actual confusion. They're like, what? Whoa, whoa. What do they do? What the fuck? Just tossing it out there. Nah, no worries. Whatever.
And I would rather the administration focuses on fulfilling the threats they've made to the regime. As an example, in the last few days, 3 tankers have been struck in the Strait of Hormuz. The administration has says there would be a strong U.S. response if that happened, and our credibility is on the line every time we don't follow through on those threats, and I'd rather we focus on that.
Do you think Trump got the name confused? My best guess is that Trump is upset with Oman because Oman is the nation that Iran has been working with to potentially reopen the strait. So from Trump's perspective, Oman is colluding with Iran to do this shared, like this negotiated like toll gate they're trying to set up through the Strait of Hormuz, not realizing that Oman is the only country in the region even remotely capable of working with Iran towards some kind of settled end to the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Is Oman a meme country or real? More real than the UAE.
Instead of making new threats to Oman.
Yeah, I know that Oman has got a close relationship with Iran, but I don't know what they've been doing to earn that.
Okay, I have no fucking idea. Yeah, I'll take advantage of that. Thank you for the title prompt. Even Fox News has no fucking idea what Trump is on about here. Excellent. We only have so much time left, folks. I'm afraid that I've been a busy bee. I've been a busy boy, so we got to move quick. We got to move as quick as we can. A lot of stuff to do before the move. Lots of paperwork, lots of moving this, moving that, boxing things, packing stuff, buying stuff, selling stuff, getting rid of furniture, getting new furniture, getting rid of the new furniture that I got rid of, hiking, saying hello to friends, saying goodbye to friends. Got birthday plans, got outdoorsy plans, got indoorsy plans. A lot of stuff to do, so let's move on. Let's move quick. Bingo! Trump's approval rating falls to 33%, the lowest of his presidency. Unbelievably, we've actually begun to hollow out that like super duper concrete core constituency. I can't believe he was net in the green at the beginning of the at the beginning of his second term. I'll never forgive or trust America again for actually falling for it a second time. Again, it's an unreconcilable blow to the even potential validity of democracy. You know, it's like saying crack is starting to lose appeal with some crackheads. People don't realize how much the number of self-identified Republicans has dropped. Hold on one second. Chart, party, affiliation, United States. So many people who used to identify as Republican no longer do. Like, it's a significant drop-off. Look at this. Hold on. Is this the chart that I'm looking for? No, this is from 2020. Hold on. I'm trying to find the more recent party affiliation information. The total percentage of the American population that identifies as Republican has really gone down. Can somebody find this for me? I don't know why. I'm looking it up. I'm looking for you know, contemporary information. I keep finding charts that end in like 2020, but it's for both parties. Yeah, but nobody's ever Nobody's ever fronted the position that the Democratic Party is a cult. The Republican Party is the cult. If those numbers are dropping off, it's meaningful. Why would anyone self-ID as a Democrat? What, to signal that you love rape, losing, and failure? Yeah, I belong to the party that's virtually as pro-Israel, but even less effective at getting its agenda implemented. Yeah, no, probably not as many people self-IDing as Democrats. I heard that in dating, Republicans basically have to hide it and pretend to be centrist. Oh yeah, that's been the case for a long time. For sure. Yeah, 100%. There's a difference between registering and calling yourself as a Democrat. Yeah. I'm not talking about being registered. I'm talking about self-IDing. Maybe a better way of looking for this would be how many people identify as independents. How many Americans identify as independents? Beyond red versus blue, the political typology. There has been a decrease in the number of people who identify as Republicans. Yeah, there we go. Wow! That's actually worse than I thought. Look at that. I know this doesn't seem like much when the y-axis goes all the way up to like 75 up here, but in between 2025 and 2026, a 4 percentage point drop in people who identify as Republican or leaning Republican. Look at that. Oh, this is with men, by the way. Sorry, this is just for men. With women, it's a 3 percentage point drop. But, let's just focus on men. Like society always does. Am I right, ladies? Among men, over 1 year, 4 percentage points. Scroll down for total. Wouldn't you be scrolling up for total? Why would scrolling down for four-way education, ages 18 to 29? Why would you not put the total at the top? Please explain, I can't read. Since 2024, there has been a 4 percentage point drop in the number of people who identify as Republicans. The reason this is significant, look, you can see the trend pretty clearly here. The number of people who identified as Republicans experienced a sharp dip at the end of Trump 1 because of January 6. This was the low point right here, 2021. But then afterwards, during the Biden era, to the extent that such a thing even existed, that number slowly climbed upwards. I know that these numbers might seem marginal, but you have to understand that even a 10 percentage change in party affiliation is huge in a country where the presidential election routinely comes down to a couple million vote difference, So the fact that over that same, over the past 2 years, since he won, there's been a drop in 4 total percentage points. You know what that represents? Nearly 10% of the total number of people who self-ID'd as Republicans. If it went from, 47 right here in total, either leaning Republican or Republican, down to 33, that's a 4-point drop. That's huge. Nearly 10%, it's like 9% of the Republican votes have evaporated. Anyway, the reason we're talking about this at all is because we're talking about Trump's ridiculously low approval rating, 33%. It's incredible because, you can't really compare apples to oranges, Democrat and Republican presidents. Democrats are okay with disapproving of Democrats. That's why they're, dissatisfaction within the party is so high. Republicans can't go against Trump because he's their cult of personality leader. It is pretty damn low for a cult. We're cutting into the core Republican numbers. I remember that when Trump was hovering around here, a lot of people were talking about this like the floor. Remember? Every day, Trump would go up there from the Oval Office. He would sign the Fuck You and Die Act. He would sign the Diarrhea Forever Act. And his approval rating would just hover here. Just hover around, 40%. The Epstein case handling dropped it a little bit, but by and away, it has been the Iran war. The Iran war, I guess it's difficult to top, guys, trust me, I'm not going to get us embroiled in another Middle Eastern forever war, and then doing it and causing all prices to skyrocket. I guess that is going to, yeah. Still a pretty huge defeater to the validity of democracy that the thing that really dropped Trump's approval wasn't all the things that he did to undermine democracy and destroy this country's future, but rather when gas prices went up. Bush's lowest approval was something like 25% at the end. Yes, but remember, it wasn't a cult. Under Bush, the Republican Party did not have anywhere near the cult of personality that it does under Trump. The U.S.-Iran war will, and then everyone is in agreement that it'll go on for a long time. Even 71% of Republicans say it'll go on for a long time. Americans still believe Republicans have a better position on immigration. What's the alternative right now? Well, the markets are still acting like Trump's going to open the Strait of Hormuz tomorrow. They've been acting that way for 6 months.